Hello and welcome to Diamonds and Duds. I am Ivan.
And I am Charles.
Today we have episode 37, Charles.
37. Time has flown.
Time has flown. We've gone through a lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff.
We have.
Today we're trying something different.
Yep. Mixing up the formula.
Mixing up the formula. Something we probably should have watched bluntly. I should have watched long ago, I think, is what I'm realizing. I was just always kind of scared, bluntly. Is we're watching One Piece. We're watching the first 2 episodes of the cartoon.
Yep.
Then we're watching the first 2 episodes of the
Netflix live action.
Yes.
And kind of compare the two.
And I know it always kind of had, it was always intimidating for me, is how many episodes of the cartoon there are.
Yes, and it's still going.
And what was the name of that other anime we did? It was like a
My Hero Academia.
Thank you. The reason I got into that one so easily is because it felt more structured. Like from what I understand on One Piece, a lot of times it's like, hey, these like 40 episodes don't matter to the overall story kind of stuff, and that always worried me. But yeah, do you want to give us a synopsis here?
Yeah. So first off, the animated Monkey D. Luffy sails with his crew of Straw Hat pirates through the Grand Line towards to find the treasure of One Piece and become the new king of the pirates. Now, this is based off a famous Japanese manga, graphic novel series. I guess it was a long series, and it had a definitive ending. The One Piece, it had a definitive ending. As far as I don't know whether or not the One Piece was found, but that story was finished. The ongoing animated series, it's not done. But my I think there's actually a new season dropping soon for the animated. My understanding is the animated is reaching the end game. Not necessarily that this is the final season. My understanding, they are getting, I guess, because there's 30 seasons of the animated plus the different spin-offs or whatever. They're getting close to the end game. And they're getting close, I guess fans are part of them never thought they'd actually, get there, but they are getting close to the actual ending of Luffy's story.
Well, that's cool. And this was, the cartoon is produced by Ichiro Oda. And when I was looking at there's no Rotten Tomatoes score for the cartoon.
Yeah.
In case anybody listening gets upset, I'm probably going to accidentally mention cartoon as opposed to anime a few times, so I apologize for that here.
And I will say, what you were saying in the beginning about it being a little daunting, for the anime, I did find that it took me a few minutes to find. Okay, where am I supposed to start?
Yeah, because
I said you sent me the picture confirming that I had the right one.
Yeah, because when you look at Netflix, it's all however many episodes of the anime there are, they're not in one spot.
No, there's
hey, here's 15
shows.
Yeah, shows, which is fine for people. It's just for someone trying to get into it and doesn't know how it works. Yeah, that was awful daunting.
Yeah. And just so we know, because there's a different format, I do have an official score for each. For animated and that. So episode 1, we start off with episodes of the animated were about 25, 30 minutes long, roughly. The anime. We have it goes over to talk about the famous pirate had died. Couple decades, basically, he said, whoever finds my treasure of One Piece, is going to be the king of the pirates. Go.
Exactly, and he left his treasure to find. It started what they called the Great Pirate Era, and one thing, the first thing I simply dug was that opening song.
Yeah. Oh no, I wrote that down. I wrote it down. Catchy opening song. I wrote down.
Yeah.
And all kind of wannabe. There's all kind of wannabe pirates looking for the treasure.
Yeah.
Essentially, and then we get right off the bat. Well, first of all, we see a cruise ship of some type, and we get our first set of pirates. they got a heart, like a hearts on the side of the.
Yeah, they have hearts on the side. Was it on the sail? I think.
Yeah, on the
sail. And there's a couple of the sailors trying to dig out trying to get this barrel out of the water.
Yes, and also my understanding is that they're not completely absent of this, but in the anime, there's not a ton of Jolly Rogers. Jolly Rogers like the skull and crossbones.
Oh.
My understanding that they're not the heart sails. They I think different pirates have different themes, and so they don't use a whole lot of Jolly Rogers, which is fine.
My next thing is purely a guess on my standpoint, but my guess on that bluntly was it gives them way more flexibility.
Oh yeah, because they tailor the stuff to like the type of pirate. There's a pirate queen on there. And I liked her design. I liked her character. And then just going kind of as far as comparing, I will say, I like in some cases I like the anime version better. Some things I like the live action. This in terms of character design, and this we'll get to it with the live action. That particular the Pirate Queen. I like the anime version just a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly. I like both of them, but the anime seemed like the clear point was to set up an almost like over the top tone for it. It was clear. It was no. I think part of what it's for too is to set up. There's a clear distinction between what Luffy is, who we'll get to in a second, the kind of pirate that Luffy is, and the kind of
I'm going to have a controversial opinion about Luffy.
Oh, are you?
Well, what I assume is a controversial opinion.
Okay.
But yeah, we said like the pirate ships are shooting. I noticed like for at least initially the pirates aim kind of sucked for the first. I mean, they eventually started hitting the cruise ship, and so. We meet like then we meet a pirate there that's going to become an important character.
Yeah, exactly. There's a kid
in quotations.
Yeah, they kind of backing up a step. Those two sailors, they get the barrel up on board, and that's when they start getting attacked.
Yeah.
As it's getting attacked, the barrel starts rolling, kind of rolls down underneath the ship, kind of thing. But then, as we go back to Alvida's ship, there's a small kid is a pirate.
Yeah,
Kobe.
Yep,
Kobe. Which he seems way out of his element.
Yeah, I wrote down Kobe kind of sucks as a pirate. His name also evolved because at first I thought I was hearing Toby.
Oh.
But then I realized soon that it was Kobe.
Yeah.
Not Toby. But yeah, Kobe kind of sucks as a pirate.
Yeah.
But that's the point.
Exactly.
This isn't like, some, like, the pirates. No. Kobe, as you said, he's supposed to be out of his element. He's not really there by choice. He's essentially like a cabin boy slave.
Exactly. He's kind of a hostage. Is what this is. Basically, he's a hostage who's kind of there, pretending to be a pirate because he's kind of forced to be.
Yeah. And then eventually, a couple of the pirates, they members of the crew, they open the barrel because they think it's going to be, ale in it, and we get our main character.
Main character Luffy, who's the straw hat pirate.
Yeah. Here's my controversial opinion about this. Is not out of all the characters in the anime and the live action, I like him the least. And now, I'm not saying I hate him.
No,
okay?
no.
I do not currently know whether I am in dislike of him or neutral. I will say the anime, this is a little bit less. There's a little bit less, but and just know this is not me like shitting on the story. There's other characters in the anime and the live action that I am drawn to.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't me like saying, oh no, this show sucked. It's just I don't particularly. I have yet not got any kind of interest in Luffy, but he is not. But he does not. At the same time, it's not to an extent where he's pushing me away. So like I'm like, all right, I'm not a big fan of Luffy, but it's not like, oh god, I'm turning this off because Luffy.
Well,
I'm not. So I'm not the biggest fan.
I can't find where I put it in my notes, Charles.
Yeah.
But what's funny is that as I was watching this, I wrote down somewhere Luffy's going to annoy the shit out of Charles.
Yes, and I will say he annoys me less in the anime because it's a stylistic thing.
Yeah,
I felt the anime from a stylistic standpoint feels very different than the live action. I personally have a clear favorite between the two, just based off the parts of this that interest me the most. But Luffy fits a little. I think it might be a little hard to adapt the character into live action.
No, I think that's what, because he's so optimistic, which makes it funny because he's a pirate. His goal is to become king of the pirates, but to be optimistic and a good person.
Yeah, and also he's kind of an idiot a lot of times.
Yeah, and
not in every situation, but there's some situation where he's just stupid. On the other hand, we don't really get a whole. She's a slow burn in the anime. We're getting this whole cruise ship, battle, things like that, pirating. We're getting this female character.
Yep.
She's not tied to anybody, but we kind of see her doing some stuff in the background.
Yep.
It's clear that she's going to be an important character. Obviously. Live action, I'm just going to say, the live action we'll get to. Live action goes a lot further into the story.
Yeah, because
they also got to streamline things, so we learn more about.
But
her
also,
in the live action.
I think bluntly, the live action has the advantage of the fact that they know what's going to happen, and there might be something 10 episodes later, where they reference some of like her stuff or Luffy's stuff that they can mention ahead of time. But see, Luffy has my kind of humor, Charles, where he goes to like. Him and one of my favorite interactions in the entire cartoon is when Luffy pops out of the barrel underneath the thing and scares the shit out of Kobe, and then they're talking back and forth. Kobe's giving some dialogue to kind of mention his history and stuff, and Luffy in a very the happiest voice that you can have goes, "Man, you're really a moron and a coward."
I enjoy that.
No,
and at this time, I will say my opinion has changed a little bit. At this point in the show, I'm not liking Kobe. I wouldn't. That's not my opinion anymore. But at this point, I'm like, I don't want your life story, Kobe. You suck. And I'm like, Monkey doesn't pull verbal punches. I think he also says your dreams probably suck or something like that. Yeah, so
something like I wrote at this point in the thing. I wrote, Luffy's kind of an ass.
Yeah.
And then to give another example of Luffy's internal optimism, which I grew to find between the 4 episodes we watched really endearing, is an example that is when he goes to Kobe in a completely straight face. You know what? Maybe they'll give me a boat.
Yeah. And so basically, in the episode. But this point, because the anime is shorter, we're getting to basically they battle we learn the big thing about Luffy is that he has powers. He's stretchy. He's Mr. Fantastic.
We find out he's stretchy. Basically, what happened, he gets up to the deck, and there ends up being a fight scene that I found really cool between him and all the pirates, the Alvida's pirates and stuff, right? Yeah. I'm making sure I'm not mixed, because your brother's brains when those work so great. Well, we find out he's a stretchy man, and everybody's confused about how in the hell he's a stretchy man. He ate something called the devil fruit.
Yeah, and it gives you a power. It's not always the same power. It just is. And it's funny, because he does. I think he took a whole bunch. He took some, before it was revealed that he stretches. He took some kind of blow that I'm like, wait. I'm like, does he have powers or what? I just don't get it. And literally, as I'm like 75% into writing, as they reveal, he's I'm like, okay, it was pointless writing that note, So look at this cool aspect, so this first episode ends basically defeating the women.
Yeah, defeating. They take like a little rowboat.
Yeah, a little rowboat, and they're together. We also get we get a tease. What I thought at the time was a reveal of a future bad guy, future guy who's like, like a stockade.
Oh yeah.
I thought at the time that he was a future bad guy. We get into the next episode. He's not.
Yeah, and that takes us to
episode 2.
Episode 2. Basically, there's a bounty hunter called Zorro, which is referenced briefly in episode 1. Because they were thinking maybe that Luffy was a bounty hunter coming after pirates kind of thing. And basically they're going after Zorro because Luffy needs a crew.
Yeah, he does. And Kobe, and this town that basically where like the Marines are at, Kobe wants to be a Marine. Too.
Exactly. That's his lifelong dream because he's thinking of Marines he's thinking of Marines as kind of the good guys who are there to help everybody, and that's basically what he wants to do is to help people, basically.
Yeah, and so they're they're getting. Luffy goes to talk to Zoro, who's in the stockade. And we have this little girl who's like the stockade's on the Marine base, so like who goes to feed him chocolate rice balls, which
sound fucking disgusting.
They do.
Say something in the comments or somewhere if that's an actual thing, because I didn't look it up. If it is, let us know. But I don't think that's an actual thing.
They treated it seemed from the way they presented the show that adding chocolate is not normal.
Okay,
yeah, because like Zoro was like really surprised.
Exactly.
Like, wait, chocolate.
Exactly, and as they're going through that too, one of the big things Kobe mentions to Luffy is, "Hey, Zoro's bloodthirsty. You know, we don't want to be because because basically what Kobe and Luffy are doing is they're going to the Marine base, but Kobe's going to go off and join the Marines. Luffy's going to do his thing, and yeah, because." And I found it funny that the name of the head guy in the base was Captain Morgan.
Yeah, Captain Morgan. Yeah, he's got a bit like an iron jaw kind of thing. He's got a son that's a real douchebag.
Yes,
I enjoy it. I also and Zoro. See, like again, I'm not a big fan of Luffy. I mean, he has his moments. Again, I'm not saying I don't like him. I just I don't know where I stand, and I like him the least. Like he's But the guy that I like, I like me some Zoro.
Because, and again, tell us if we're wrong on this. But and we've only watched the first couple episodes. But it almost seems like what the crew is going to be. Because if you look at Zoro, if you look at Kobe and you look at Luffy, just the 3 characters in the anime that we know of so far, they're all so completely different archetypes. And it seems like there's going to be different archetypes for people to kind of gravitate to, because I also found they developed Zoro so well in the cartoon because they only have 25 minutes or whatever.
Yeah,
and so they develop him so well in this.
Yeah, they do. First of all, initially we get the impression that he's like this evil like demonic demon hunter kind of thing. That's his reputation, as you kind of alluded. But we see we see a flashback of why he's in the stockade. It was involved that same girl, this bar, tavern, whatever. He had a run-in with Douchebag because Douchebag was harassing them.
Yes, yeah. Douchebag was harassing him because basically Douchebag is the son. I forget if we said that. He's the son of Captain Morgan. And he's written so well. Because he's basically in the cartoon, in the anime, he's like, you can't do anything because my daddy will kill you. And the guy looks like 30.
Yes. So he's fun. We're also getting this, in the background here and there, we are getting, once again, a little bit of the red hair girl.
Correct.
Again, right now in the anime, we don't know we don't know much about her. They're slow burning it because again, when the anime was made, the manga, the manga, however you say it, that was already out. So the fans, all right, we knew it's her. I forget what her name is. I know we learn it in the live action, but also so basically Zoro had gone to the stockade, so the girl and her family get left alone, and Luffy is basically gonna bust him out.
Yeah, basically
the sword.
Luffy is so internally up. He's like, well, I'm gonna let him out. He's a good fighter. He'll join my crew.
Yeah,
but he hunts pirates.
Yeah. Basically, another thing to take to this is Luffy and Luffy a lot of like in this show a lot of times like they call him Monkey because it's Luffy as Monkey.
Because it was it Monkey D. Luffy or Luffy D.
I think it was Luffy D. Monkey.
Yeah, okay.
And he just does whatever the fuck he wants.
Yes.
You know,
because he's like I'm going to be king of the pirates, so I have to do this. And the way I also took it, Charles, is that and part of this might have been what he called the TV show developed too, but it's like he doesn't care if something is hard or if it's easy.
Yeah.
He goes after what is right.
Yeah.
Which I find very very intriguing and interesting as a story point, but also it's very interesting for that because he's a pirate.
Yes, and so we see a little bit of action and fighting in here. This episode does on a cliffhanger because like there's kind of it kind of ends in the middle of the showdown. Luffy gets shot a lot, but part of the big he's bulletproof.
Exactly. You find out he's bulletproof, and that's kind of Luffy saves Zoro and Kobe at the end of it, and that's kind of where that one.
And one thing, one issue that I have, and this goes to the preference between the two, and kind of some of the action in the anime is cool, but a lot of it by design is like we don't. It's not like full blown action scene. It's like kind of exaggerated, big this that, and where this. And so that will impact my rating, and we'll see why as we get into the live action in a minute. And it's just a matter of, for me, in these shows, what was the biggest draw to me? Because I have a really, really big draw that we'll talk about soon in the live action. That it's what I'm here for. What I'll probably continue to watch the live action.
Exactly, and one of the things I'll mention for people as well is my brother and I we did not grow up on anime.
No.
Okay. So we've watched the. What was the name of the other one?
My Hero Academia.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't remember. We watched My Hero Academia. We're doing One Piece, and other than I think as a kid there was like a Voltron like competitor that I vaguely remember watching.
Probably. Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think we've seen really any anime, and so that's where we're pretty new into this. So you want to give our ratings at the end?
Yes. Well,
you can do it now.
What do we want to do in the middle?
Yeah,
what do you think?
Tell you what, let's give a rating here, then we'll bring it up again.
We'll bring it back.
We'll bring it back.
Okay, so first off, our rating scale. We have diamonds, we have duds. There's two different scales. Diamonds obviously good, and within that there's a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being it's good, but am I going to revisit it? I don't know. 5, like it's a master class. Dud, it's not good. But within that there are levels too. 1 is like you wanted to scratch your eyeballs out. You feel like you lost a year of your life. 4 or 5, it's bad, but it's guilty pleasure. Guilty pleasure, so bad it's good, that kind of thing. So where do you land with the anime version?
The anime I find as a diamond, absolutely. I can't, for me personally, I can't put this in the dud category. I have it as a 3.5 is where I have it. Only, and that's not a bad rate. It's kind of the good ones, it's kind of middle of the good ones. I'll probably just bluntly, because they're only 25 minutes long, as I'm working, I can just throw them on and kind of thing. So I'll probably continue on bluntly. I'll probably continue with both of them.
Yeah. So I'm a diamond as well. Diamond, I'm a little bit lower at 2. Yeah. It's good. It's an interesting concept, interesting aspects. But as we get into the things I like most about this series, just as we're going to find out as we continue to talk, shine a little bit better in the live action.
Yeah.
Purist, if that's like, I know the live action has, it's not a slouch. Like in terms of critics, what critics think of it, it's not a slouch. It's not like some 8% Rotten Tomatoes got.
No.
With that, let's go ahead and transition into the live action.
Yeah, let's transition to live. Because the live action, on Rotten Tomatoes has a 93% by the critics, 95% by the fans, which I think for a show like this, because understandably a lot of, for lack of a better word to say it, nerd culture, which we're absolutely part of nerd culture too, not just not anime nerd culture, is that if something's not faithful and good, the nerds will let you know. Kind of thing.
So, and again, I did write down the thing, even though this One Piece live action, well, they're all on Netflix, but Netflix makes the live action. Evil Threat, Sea Beast, Lost Treasure. Join Luffy and his crew for a voyage of a lifetime in this live action remake of the world famous graphic novel. And that's the One Piece live action. 2 seasons. Well, the second season literally dropped recently.
Yeah, that was totally intentional by us.
Yeah, yeah. The second season, literally dropped as we were since we announced, since it came out that we were going to be doing it. And so, just for references, okay, so you're following along with the first live action episode covers the first, I believe, 3 episodes. At least 3 episodes. I think, and this next part is going to be a guess by me. So
my guess also is there's some stuff probably they mentioned as backstory way later that they put in here. But I want to mention a couple things here for you, Charles, as we go into the this was created by Stephen. The live action was created by Stephen Maeda and Matt Owens. Have you heard of them?
No.
Okay, Stephen Maeda was on Lost and the X-Files.
Oh, okay.
He was on seasons 2 and 3 of Lost. He was producer.
Oh, okay.
He wrote a lot of the season 2 and 3.
Nice.
And on X-Files, he wrote seasons 8 and 9.
Okay. The Nugget days.
Yes. And then Matt Owens is probably the person you're more gonna. I think probably more akin to something I think we talked about earlier. Matt Owens wrote a ton for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, okay. Well,
seasons 4 and 5 he did, as well as he I don't have IMDb up in front. He wrote some episodes in 4 and 5, but his big thing he's done so far is he's credited with writing all of Luke Cage's television show. Which is
Luke Cage's, especially season 1 is so good.
And so,
and that makes with this ties to season 4 and 5, particularly season 5 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That really that makes a cast episode 2 casting.
Because he wrote
thing make a lot of sense.
He wrote a couple episodes of Defenders. He wrote 37 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then 26 of Luke. Okay, so I'm not surprised that this was up your alley.
So we start off the exact same way. We see that pirate get executed, set off people looking for One Piece, but we have a narrator this time. Did you catch who the narrator was?
I should have.
Ian McShane, Deadwood. It was he was a guy doing the.
Okay.
He was the guy doing the narrator there, and he's only narrates the first episode. I think I don't recall. He just narrated the beginning.
Kind of to set the tone, probably.
Yeah,
because the first episode starts. Was the cartoon was 22 years ago? Also, or was that?
It started. Yeah, because it started long.
Because it starts 22 years ago, where that same pirate kind of had.
Yeah.
But they show him in front of the crowd getting executed.
Yeah, and what they also show this in the live action, they showed how Luffy got in the barrel.
Yes,
basically his boat's falling apart. And
I forgot about that part. Yes.
And again, I'm not sure how we feel about the actor's performance as live action Luffy. I don't know if it
grew on me.
I'm not sure if it's translating well. I don't hate it. I'm just we're in a wait and see. We're in a wait and see mode. But I'll tell you right now, because the biggest draw to me of One Piece are the action scenes.
Oh yes.
And it shines so. This is not a knock against anime. It's anime stuff, but it shines so much more in live action. And that's why Zoro's my favorite character.
Because it's nothing. The anime is amazing, but what they do it so well because this kind of material would be so easy for it to come across as cheesy and bad. It'd be so easy for it to come across as cheesy. One thing I want to go back on, the only thing I'm not sure, because we haven't gone past the first couple episodes, that threw me a little bit, was they showed the killing of the 22 years.
Yeah.
That wasn't James Gunn's brother.
No.
Okay. It looked the guy who killed the head guy who killed James Gunn. The guy's going to come back. The 22 years ago threw me only because I know it was in the anime, but they show certain people leaving the crowd. And it almost seemed like the red-haired girl was.
I don't think so.
But it might have just
happened to be somebody else.
Okay, it's probably just somebody because that part threw me a little bit. But also, these live action episodes are like an hour long.
Yeah,
so
they're about an hour.
Basically, and that's just what your brother Charles loves about Netflix. Netflix lets you that if you need the episode to be 40 minutes, they'll let you be 40 minutes. If you need the episode to be 55, they'll let you be 55.
Yeah,
kind of thing. And so you see how Luffy got into the barrel.
Yep. And as far as in the live action, as far as character designs versus anime, as far as how it. I think they nail pretty much every single one. The only one, again, a little bit, and this to me, it's just a limitation of live action, is the queen. The queen pirate.
Yeah,
she felt a little. Low,
I think
low, but this is not a low, but she felt a little basic compared to the anime, but there's also that means that every other one hits the mark.
Exactly. And I think, and stop me if you disagree here, Charles, I'm thinking as we go through the live action, what we do is we kind of mention a lot of the differences. It's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And this is pure, well, my next thing is going to be purely a guess on Alvida, is that her character's so over the top in the first. I'm almost wondered if they're worried about offending people.
Probably because they're
and having that be one of the first things people see in the show.
And and they are going for a more serious tone of this.
Exactly. And you need to kind of set the tone of everything before you get to the kind of goofiness that's not goofy and kind of hardcore that we'll talk about here in a second.
Yeah, so they get past the whole queen pirate thing pretty quickly. There's not a whole it's streamlined, but there's not a whole. I don't think there's no cruise ship, in this one. So basically, they deal with it. They use it as a way of introducing Luffy and Kobe. And then they kind of get them away from that and headed towards the time Zoro on the Marines as quickly as possible.
And this is a guess. My guess is in the anime, Alvida probably comes up multiple times, and so they kind of, hey, let's introduce her a little bit, I think they wanted to move them to the Marine base as quickly as possible, right? Because I think the goal in the initial one, nothing against Kobe, was to get the three together. Is the red haired girl Zoro and Luffy together as soon as possible to kind of put their claws, for lack of a better word, into the audience.
Yeah, and so one of the big changes that they get to one of the big changes is Zoro has not been in the stockade for 20-something days already. We see in real time what happened. Is most of it's the chocolate rice ball is there, but it happens inside the bar. Also, Luffy and Kobe are there, as well as the redhead girl.
Exactly, yeah.
So they're bringing everybody together at this one part, and it makes sense.
Exactly, and again, this is something as someone who only watched the first couple episodes, this made perfect sense to me. But also, I think what they want to appease the people that have seen the anime.
Yeah.
But what I think is great about this is they're also. The most important thing, nothing against people who like but the most important thing is making sure the random person who decided to put this on, even though it was based on an anime, is not going to be confused, and they can have fun with it quick.
Yeah.
But not piss off everybody.
Also, one thing that we are getting in the live action, we get this in both episodes, and I'm curious to see if it's an ongoing thing, past, because as we'll get to in the second live action episode, I can see it being a stopping point. But we're getting flashbacks to Luffy as a kid, and I really enjoy them and showing his mention of the crew that he wants to be part of. That guy has a straw hat, and And so I really enjoy it.
No, I really enjoyed that too, because you also see kind of what I'm assuming they continue on with that. But you see where Luffy comes from. You see what set forth his persona, and the fact that he wants to be a pirate, but he's basing his pirate on Captain Shanks, who, as a pirate, stood up for people.
Yeah,
and which is such an, and we've mentioned this a few times in the podcast, but it's such an interesting idea.
Yep, and we see him as a kid. He take the gum fruit, give his powers, and so yeah. In this version, we know Kobe still wants to be a Marine. So we know, spoiler, Kobe's not going to be part of Luffy's crew. I think he's going to be important and be an ally, but he's not actually going to be a member of.
Yeah, that's what I'm not sure of, and it seems like people might go back, and so I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back and get into the crew at some point. But I will say, right around this point, your brother had a jump scare.
What, really?
Oh yes, your brother about left out of his goddamn chair when Luffy tried to stab himself in the eye.
Oh,
because there's a point in the show where Luffy, as a kid, the kid takes a knife and tries to stab himself in the eye because he wants to give himself a scar, and that about scared Ivan.
Yeah, is it like above his eyebrow? Yeah.
No, it was right here.
Oh, below. Yeah. Right.
It was below. Really close, and it also scared the crap out of Captain Shanks.
Yeah. And so now Zoro's been put in the stockade. Luffy wants to get a map. So he's just going to break into the Marine base to get a map so that he can, he thinks they'll give him he thinks they'll give him a map
because he's like,
the Grand Line.
Because he's like, I'm going to the Grand Line. Why wouldn't they just give me one? Basically, which I.
And so we get while he's breaking, and we get the red-haired girl who's very competent. She's sneaking in with the uniform. And that,
we get a lot of which I imagine was going to come, but you get a lot of background on her right away.
Yes, and so, the fight scenes in the live action are fantastic. We get one of the big set pieces is when they freeze. That's different. Well, I think it's kind of our stopping point in the original, the animated. But it's the whole once you got they get Zoro's. Basically, they get to the map. Sorry, the map is in a safe.
Yo.
They can't open a safe, so they just take the damn safe.
Yes. Basically, they take the damn safe, and this is the episode also where they have the background on Zoro also, which I found interesting as well. Or was that in the next one? Let's.
Background. So.
I think it was here. It's called Six's Island. Basically, it shows Zoro. He kills a lot of people, and he doesn't remember a lot of the pirates he's killed. Is basically
yes, but that was here. And again, I thought Captain Morgan looks pretty cool, but the whole fight, we get the big fight scene with a lot of the Marines in the courtyard. We see Zoro's big thing is he has 3 swords.
Yes, he has 3 swords, and Luffy's been very confused. Gets very confused over the course of this episode of what the third one's for.
Yeah, where's the third one used?
Yeah, where's the third one used?
Yeah, and we see Red Hair Girl has basically kind of like a staff baton.
Yeah, which is basically almost it's probably not what it's called. I almost thought of it as like Donatello's bow staff. Yeah, kind of thing.
And so and then Luffy was.
And one of the thing I'll say here, we haven't. He's been in the course of this, but what do you call Captain Morgan's son is also in this.
He's well represented.
He's plays it to a T to what the anime is, and the guy who plays it does it so well.
Yeah, and there's a cool scene when after Zoro gets freed, he goes to get his own swords because he's like, I'm not going to deal with you two, and it's just and because douchebag has his swords, so he walks in on douchebag nude, and basically he gives douchebag a funny haircut.
Yeah, he gives him a funny haircut.
Yeah, and so that's good. The fight scene was again. They fight Captain Morgan.
Yes,
they battle him and his but they start to end up getting they get the safe. Zoro saves Because they're in time a tough spot. He joins.
Exactly, because I think this is kind of building Zoro's kind of back. Because yes, does you want to kill pirates? Yes, is Luffy technically a pirate? But also Luffy and them, they kind of saved him. Yeah. And in the end, I agree that Zoro's right here is kind of the most interesting character.
Yeah, and he made a promise to become the world's greatest swordsman.
And my guess is there's there's going to be some sort of tragic thing behind that.
Yeah,
is my guess.
And it's clear to me at this point that red-haired girl, she's looking for the map to the Grand Line too, but also she has there's some kind of other goal that she has.
See, your brother's stupid. You know when your brother realized that?
End of episode 2.
The end of episode 2.
I didn't know what the goal was, but I figured there's...
And I always find this funny, Charles, between you and me, is that Charles is the one who figures this stuff out 5 minutes into him. He's like, oh, that's the killer. Is how Charles is. But, they can almost tell Ivan, and half the time I'm not going to realize it.
Yeah, and so... at some point in the fight scene, we do get the 3 swords at once. The third sword he puts in his mouth.
Yes.
Luffy's like, oh, that's where the third sword is used. And so they get the safe. The 3 of them go to the ship, and douchebag has a drop on him, but Kobe knocks him out.
Yeah, Kobe knocks him out and saves him.
Yep, but Kobe decides, I'm staying. I want to go in the Marines. Basically, he wants to change things from the inside.
Exactly, yeah. So Kobe stays behind and decides not to stay with his crew.
Yeah, and so at the end of the episode, we also get some a few other pirates.
Yeah.
Who are the guy presumably the big bad of the season, who's kind of like Captain Morgan's boss.
Yes.
I think we get a clown pirate who will very much be coming into play in the next episode.
Yes, and so as we go into the next episode, we get more of that backstory we've talked about a bit. See more of Luffy as a kid, and a lot of that Shanks had to fight a guy in a bar. And Luffy fought the guy in the bar.
And this is why I'm really wondering, because the episode, just not the whole, but the flashbacks seem to tell the rest of the story of him and Shanks. By the end of the flashbacks, Shanks has left. Yeah. Luffy has the hat, and he's still a kid, and he knows basically the kind of pirate that he wants to be.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if there's more flashbacks, or if that was because these first 2 episodes, there's a different plot of this one, but this episode very much is feeling about the 3 of them kind of deciding. I mean, Luffy decided they're going to be a crew. But about the other 2 deciding.
Luffy decided Zoro was going to be in this crew before he met him.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of thing. But basically, what the purpose of this episode is hey, we need by the end of it, these 3 are going to be a crew.
Yeah.
My guess is that they're going to be the 3, and maybe Kobe and some other characters kind of coming along. But my guess is that hey, these are going to be our 3 focal points of this show. We need to have them together, and to solidly set it forward.
And so our bad guy in this episode is awesome. He's from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 5, 6, and 7. He was on the show the rest of the way. I forget his name in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Basically, season 5, spoilers for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., season 5, the first arc, they went into the space in the future, and he was introduced there, and he ends up joining the Cas. I think he's Fitzsimmons, the grandson of Fitzsimmons.
Okay.
Or something like that. And he does a great. He's a clown pirate running a circus. He does a really, really great job.
Yes, yeah, he plays it over the top, but also there's something very dark and sinister about him too, which some people might argue is just a clown in general, but
yeah, and so basically they get the drop on the 3 of them. Use some kind of knockout gas to knock them out. They know they have the Grand Line map, which Luffy has swallowed.
Yes, and then that's kind of staying with the tone of each episode showing stuff he can do.
Yeah.
Which is similar to the anime. They show, hey, this is another thing he can do.
Yeah, and so so as pretty much the red-haired girl and Zoro really kind of throw when they're under this big chop. They're not on a ship right now. They're at like a time basically that
it sounds like basically Buggy had destroyed a town and basically took everybody there
hostage. Yeah, and basically red-haired girl and Zoro just beeline out of there and leave. Exactly. But they get captured immediately. Yeah,
because basically, like the red-haired girl's like, "Hey, by the way, Luffy has powers. He'd be a great part of your guys' circus." Yeah. And then when they're looking at him, he fucking leaves.
Yep.
Basically.
By the way, in a couple points of this episode, we do check in on Kobe, who's now joined the Marines, and he's a cadet, and there's another cadet along with him.
Yes, there's Captain Morgan's son.
Yeah, douchebag who's now pissed off his dad so much that he's a Marine cadet. Which is, I found that funny.
No,
I enjoy that.
I find, and over the course of this episode, my guesses are kind of started. That's going to be the main through line this season. Is going to be that and him, because it seems like there's a reason he's tracking down Luffy specifically. Yeah, I could be wrong, but it seems like there's a reason why that guy. And horrible with names. I named him in my notes Main Marine.
Yeah,
I'm sure they mentioned his name, and I just didn't see it. But basically, it feels like there's a reason he's going after specifically. Because the second...
Yeah, there's recognition.
There's when they mention he's the Straw Hat Pirate, he knows immediately.
That's either Luffy or Shanks.
Exactly. He knows of the Straw Hat Pirate, so it wouldn't surprise me if he knows Shanks. But yeah.
Yeah, and so... we get basically they're going to be torturing Luffy to try to get the map.
We find out one because basically Zoro and Red are basically Red's in a cage. Zoro's tied up. They're trying to. They go back and forth a few times, showing that they're trying to escape. But one of the other things I found intriguing was that Buggy, when they're torturing him, you find out a second key thing about his powers. Here, did you catch that?
Oh, his kryptonite?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, his kryptonite's... They mention it in episode 1.
Okay.
It's a passing thing. Either episode 1 or the anime. One of the two, they had mentioned...
seawater, right?
Seawater as the enemy of the Gum fruit.
Okay.
And, yeah, so that's what it is. They put him in they douse him in sea... after they try stretching the hell out of him, that doesn't work. They put him in a seawater thing. He can't use his powers with sea.
Which, also, because in the beginning of my notes, I was also, and I know you're not this, but I was very anti-Luffy in the regular show. Yeah. But over the course of this, I just admire his character so much. Because a lesser person, the second they're like, "Hey, we're going to drown you." Yeah. Oh yeah, here's the map to the Grand Line, guys. That kind of, and I like the fact that he's like, "Well, no, I'm going to become king of the pirates. I can't become king of the pirates if I give this to you." Yeah. So it's.
Now the clown also, we've learned the clown has taken the gum fruit, and basically he can separate his body into all kinds of pieces.
Yes, yeah, exactly. He can basically slice and dice himself and move all of the parts of himself independently, which is very very cool.
Really cool. It makes for some cool action scenes, especially at the end once because Zoro and Red, they get free eventually.
Yeah, they get free eventually, and basically again similar to the anime, Zoro has to go help Luffy because it's the right thing to do, basically.
Yeah, and so in the fight, the beginning, they're having a really tough time against Clown Guy because he can just separate himself at will. Well, they start knocking pieces of him in boxes.
Yes,
knocking the boxes up, and then once it's just like a head,
cool.
It's like the head reattaches to feet and hand, which is really funny visual, and then they just knock him in the ocean, which is funny.
Yes, I thought that was really. I'm assuming we'll probably see Buggy again at some point.
Yeah,
if they need to.
But. Yeah, and then we get a kind of tag at the end of this episode is we see Red basically get on the snail phone and tell somebody that she has the map to the Grand Line.
Yes.
We don't know who.
But also probably one of my favorite quotes we've had, Charles, in any of our shows, in any of our movies or shows we've had so far, appears right before that.
What's that?
if the path to what you want is too easy, you're on the wrong path.
Oh yeah, yes.
I wrote that down because I would have forgotten it.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love that line. I'm assuming it's from the end, but it's like it was such a good line.
Yeah. And so that's where we're at the end of 2 episodes. I've already gone over our format. So where do you have this one? I'm in Diamond.
I have this as a Diamond and Diamond 4.
That's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, and
Diamond 4. I love the fight scene. Oh, we didn't really hit this, but also the effects.
Oh yes!
In the flashback, they show like a sea dragon, sea monster, and it was very visually well done.
It was. I don't know how to describe it, but it's so much of the show is obviously CGI in the background and stuff. But it's something that it was almost in its own style, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
it was very stylistic, and it didn't take away from it at all. Yeah. But I'll probably be continuing on. Initially, what I'll probably do is go through the 2 seasons that are out of the live action first, because I want to watch those before I dig into the cartoon. Just because I'll probably look something up online to see what order I'm supposed to watch shit in.
Yeah.
But also, in case they don't do something in the anime is quote unquote better or something. Yeah. I'll probably do that first.
All right, so what do we got up next time?
Next, we have Slither. From 2006, and Mr. James Gunn's first, I'll say hit in quotations. I don't remember if this movie's a hit. It was a critical hit.
Yeah, it was
a
cult classic. I think it made $2 in theaters.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
But it was very much it's considered a cult classic.
Yes, and so highly recommend anybody who, if you haven't seen that. It's been a long time since I've watched it, but yeah.
Yeah, so have a good one. Follow us on all the things. Do the stuff. We'll see you next time.
Yep, see you next time. Bye.